us know so we can get it on social media and get it out to our community. As we know, we want to make sure that all the vaccines that are coming into our community are being utilized to their fullest effect. So that's why we're trying to reach out to these, the pharmacies and the healthcare clinics that are doing them, so we can make sure that the public is getting well aware of it. We currently are advertising for a public works employee. We have one vacancy right now, so that is open until filled. So if you know anyone who has public work experience or is looking for a job, please send them to our website. They can get all the information off of there. ARCO continues to move forward. They've already submitted for their building permit. They've already submitted their civil engineering plans. It's looking like they're hoping to start breaking ground here probably late spring, early summer. So looking forward to getting rid of the pigeon's nest and get that site reused. And we're in the middle of union negotiations right now. We have 3 groups that we're working with. All their contracts expire June 30th. So we've already had 2 meetings with them. So probably in April, we'll probably go to a closed session. And so we can update the council on what's occurring in those negotiations. The mayor and I are meeting with Supervisor Condit on Monday, the 29th. So if there's any council members that have any questions or concerns, please feel free to either email me or Mayor Graham, and then we can ask Supervisor Condit any of your questions or concerns and share those with him. And then just lastly, council, we continue to work on the news project. That's our stormwater project. We have a meeting set up with the regional water, the state water board on Monday or Tuesday the 6th. Remember, that's the $6.4 million project that we're moving forward with. And so we're excited about that project. The state's excited about that project. And so I think right now, tentatively, Catherine might be able to add more detail when she talks, but I think we're kind of scheduled for probably breaking ground in 2023. And that's probably about a year-long project to be constructed. So and maybe she can update you at her turn. So with that, I can answer any questions that any council member may have.
Any questions for Michael? Thank you, Michael. Allie?
Evening, Mayor, council members. Just reporting back for the farmers market. We have a total of 41 vendors signed up as of today, so that's good news. Hopefully, everything goes as planned, and we'll be able to have that farmers market on both the east and the west side of the plaza. Moving forward with, I know council member Penmantel had talked about the green clothing bins at our Burger King area. Those have since been removed. Roy did a great job in working with Burger King to get those removed. So apart from that, if you have any questions, I can answer.
Any questions for Allie?
No, just a big thanks for getting rid of those bins that have become really unsightly. So appreciated having
Yeah, that's very good work. Thank you.
Yeah. I like the idea of the bins. They just never stay secured. Everybody breaks into them or something and they end up with stuff everywhere.
They just weren't locked properly. I mean, you had to get someone who could weld a couple of clips on it, put a real lock on it instead of, I mean, people were sleeping in those things, come on now.
Thank you, Allie.
You're welcome.
Chief Richardson?
Good evening. Just a couple quick updates. Not this past weekend, the weekend prior to that, we did a door installation, upgrading our building a little bit, securing it a little bit better than it had been in the past. And this week, the new card lock, so keyless entry fobs will be put in place to finish out that project. So we'll have a little more security around the department. We had some unsecured doors. They weren't unsecured, but they needed to be upgraded to metal doors and metal frames. And then this past weekend on Sunday, just give you guys a little heads up, we had an incident in the 1300 block of Blue Teal. Approximately 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was an isolated incident between neighbors. There was an altercation where one neighbor then brandished a firearm and fired a round, and that round struck an individual that was not really part of the incident. He was there, but not part of the altercation in the foot area. That he's expected to be fine. That gentleman that did fire off the round was arrested and booked in the Stanislaus County Jail. So just wanted to give you a little heads up if you guys heard anything about it, what it was exactly. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Chief?
I just like to say, it's good seeing you, Chief Richardson. You know, we don't get a chance to see you very often, but it's good to see your face. And I just want to thank you for your service, man. God bless you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you for the update.
Good job.
Lou, how are we doing?
Doing good, heating it all. I want to put out a reminder to anybody that's listening to this program that if you're having difficulty making your utility bill payment, or if you know someone who's having difficulty making that payment, please contact our finance department. They will get you in touch with several agencies that can help you rapidly get you covered and back on track. Other than that, the whole city's working on getting the budget completed. We're still planning on presenting the budget the first meeting in June, and everything's on track for that. Other than that, the city's doing financially very well. We're living within our means and trying to keep doing that. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Lou?
Yeah, I was wondering, maybe this Christmas, Lou, you be Santa Claus?
Well, I'm actually trying to lose some weight so I could never be asked to do that part.
Mayor, real quickly, if I may, we did put those notifications in all of our water bills for the utility payment services. So every resident will be getting a copy of that and being notified that help for utilities is available to them. And there's a contact information in there. So that'll be coming forth in all the utility bills this month.
Was that thrown up on social media too?
Allie, I believe.
That is correct. So we do have populating both of the Spanish and English version of the rental assistance programs on our social media. We can update them, and that's probably what our next step will do, is update them to the front of their page so they don't go down to the bottom of our stories.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Catherine?
Thank you, Mayor. So the schedule, Michael's right on the money. Basically, we expected to maybe have a notice to proceed or late spring or early summer this year, but the grant, the water board didn't award until about 4 or 5 months after they initially were going to. So that just put our schedule behind. What we're doing right now is updating the schedule, the budget, making sure that we have all the documents in place so the state can review that and then submit an agreement for Michael to enter into on behalf of the city of Newman. And then we'll finish design, get our permits, and then advertise and award construction. And so we'll keep you updated as we go through. The well 10 site is coming along nicely. They're starting to pull wire on all the electrical. The tank they're finalizing some inside welds and getting ready to coat the tank. They'll have a little bit of time to prep that. At this time, they're on schedule to be finished mid-May of this year. With some training that the operators will get before we take that project over. They expect to be paving, I believe, prepping paving next week and the week after. And so those residents out in that area will get notified, and then there'll be some traffic control in that area. And then we'll have a paved area out there. Our YOLO, FIG, and Main Street projects have been given notices to proceed, and construction has started on YOLO and FIG with some demo of the area where the sidewalk will be installed. The Main Street project's gonna take a little bit longer because we want the weather to be really good before we start laying some slurry down and striping. We're working on some other projects that we'll be bringing you in the coming months for approval. They're all in design right now, and maybe at our next meeting, Michael or I can give you a little update on all those projects that are coming. Public Works is ramping up park maintenance, doing some fertilization and prep, so before we start getting into the heavy growing season. And I just want to remind everybody, as the weather starts warming up, pay attention to your sprinklers. Just give your lawns and gardens as much water as they need, and make sure that you're sticking with your watering schedule, which you can find on the City of Newman website under our e-documents. That way you don't get cited. We have a pretty low water year this year, and so we really need to conserve. We're not in horrible shape, and Newman particularly isn't, but just as a whole, we need to preserve that groundwater table so we can have water in the future if we do get a really drought year. And that's all I got, but I'd be happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Catherine? Seeing none. Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
Chief Bowen?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a few updates for you guys. We have had a few motor vehicle collisions, with two of those having significant injuries recently. One of them involved 6 vehicles on I-5. So I just want to take this time to ask everyone to slow down and be patient while you're driving, and see if we can prevent some of those injuries and accidents. I also just want to update you. We are continuing with the remodel here at the fire station. We also had some doors put in and some access control. We're still accepting bids for the front fence, and the contractor's here working on the bathroom. So you'll see his trailer out front and his workers here in and out over the next up to 30 days. So we're excited about that. We're also working with Patterson on the vaccination clinic. They did reach out to us looking for some of our EMTs to potentially assist with doing injections. So I'm working on seeing if we have EMTs available for that. And then fire season's quickly approaching for us. So we'll be having some conferences and meetings about that, and just preparing for the season. I can answer any questions anyone might have.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Keith, good afternoon, and good hearing your voice. Are you going to be doing, let's say sometime this year, the, what is it? Gosh, I lost my thought. The
Fire prevention week?
no, the for you know, like someone have a heart attack. It just
CPR.
yes.
Yeah, so due to the COVID, they did put some restrictions on CPR, and currently due to the remodel, we don't have a place to put people. So we do want to get back to that. I've been working with the community and doing the online version. So it's a 2-step process. They work through the CPR online for the classroom portion, and then they'll come down and see us where we'll administer the skills test. This provides a one-on-one experience and also helps us meet the guidelines of COVID. So if anyone's out there that needs CPR, we do have a workaround for that. Just reach out to us, 209-862-1716.
Yeah. So the reason why I brought that up, because it's been very successful. People, you know, when the classes were going on, we really were discussing that quite a bit. So it's a successful thing that we're doing for the city. Thanks so much.
I agree. We're working with the Ladies Auxiliary and trying to bring back the babysitter clinics and all those things we were doing for the community. It's just COVID's really hampered all that.
Right. Thank you, Keith.
Any other questions for Chief? Thank you, Chief Bowen. Moving to item number 13, items from city council members. Councilman Ball?
So last week, Nick and I attended the West Side Health Committee, and it is a withering, dying committee. I have empathy for Supervisor Condit walking into a committee and being faced with a committee that has not met since last March. In fact, none of the board members were on the meeting. Jim DiMartini put a lot of his own money and time into the committee and did a lot of good initially, but it has quite withered I do appreciate that Supervisor Condit would like to keep the committee going to continue to take a look at a 24/7 emergency room type facility here on the west side. So we will be meeting again in 6 weeks to see if this committee can get up and running again and maybe do some good towards that effort.
Good to hear. Thank you. Councilman McDonald.
Yes, just want to continue, that we keep the city of Newman in prayer and our seniors, and especially our youth and school kids that are gradually trying to get back into class, that we just keep praying that things go well. And Mayor Graham, when you're able to sit with the supervisor, would you just remind him that about the Crow's Landing project, that he would keep us up to date in reference to that? I think that's going to play a very significant part in terms of the west side, but it's going to impact both city of Newman and Patterson. So we want to, be kept up abreast in terms of how that project is coming along.
Will do. All right. Councilman Pimentel?
Well, yeah, I have a question. What's the protocol on sidewalks that are raised up by trees in this town?
Catherine?
So council member, if you can,
Go ahead, Michael.
council member, if you can just let us know where they're at. We do have a group that comes through and grinds them, and then when they're raised too high, then we can go ahead and take those sections out and re-pour them.
I understand that. I was just wondering because I know there's a couple places close to where I live. They've been marked for 2-3 years, but they've never came back, and they were definitely needed to be ground down, cut the roots out and re-poured, because we got old people walking around where I live. I don't know if you know where I live, by the PG&E plant, but they got walkers, and that I'll tell you what, I've tripped over them once in a while when I'm not paying attention. So that's just trying to keep us out of trouble. That's all.
Yeah, we definitely want to, we agree with you. We definitely want to keep our citizens safe when they're walking. We have limited budgets, so we try to prioritize what's the highest. We'll reevaluate that area and see where we're at with that, and then see if we can't get something scheduled.
Well, I figure if they could check trees, they could check the concrete sidewalks too. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's all I got to say for tonight.
Yeah, John, I see County Supervisor Condit is on the line, so we'll jump back to him.
Oh, there he is.
All right, I apologize, guys. My evening meeting ran a little late, and it took me a little while to get home, so I apologize.
No worries. We're almost done, so we're on you if you have anything that you want to put out tonight. Thank you.
Sure. Well, as you all probably saw, we did move into the red tier, which we are very happy about and excited about. So things will start opening up again. I did want to report that we had our first Westside Healthcare Task Fair meeting. I was happy to have Vice Mayor Cadilla there, as well as Councilmember Ball, who represented the city of Newman. And we are going to be having our first in-person meeting 6 weeks from the last one in Patterson. We're looking at a location to meet in person, so we're excited to move and progress that forward. But other than that, that's really all I had to report this evening.
I think Councilman McDonald had a question. If you had any updates on the Crow's Landing base that you might be able to give us.
I will get a status report, but I have not received anything since the last report I gave to the council, but I will go and follow up with Raul Mendez, and I will see if there's any sort of movement since the last update I gave.
Any questions for?
Yeah, real quick, Supervisor. I shared with the group right before you came on about the meeting we had last week, and I do want to share my empathy with you walking into a committee that's been pretty much withering for over a year. And I also appreciate the fact that you want to use the committee to bring a 24/7 emergency room west side. So thank you for keeping up the fight, and we'll see where this goes.
I really appreciate that and happy to have you a part of the committee.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Supervisor? Thank you, Supervisor Condit, for hopping on. We appreciate it.
And thank you for allowing me to go back to report.
We appreciate it. I really don't have a whole lot tonight, other than Michael and I met with Senator, California State Senator Caballero, and we kind of talked to her about some upcoming bills that she was looking at, and got some input on them. Try to give her our input for that would benefit our city. One of the concerns was the distribution of stimulus money to cities below 50,000. They were sending that money to states below 50,000 population. So if you were over 50,000, they sent the checks directly to those larger cities. The smaller cities, they sent that money to the state, and then the states so distribute it. So we want to make sure that money was pushed along quickly to the cities of smaller stature. And then we were able to kind of let her know what projects we were looking on, and try to ask for any money we can get to help us with those projects. So,
Hey, don't forget to get John and Nicholas before we leave. They have not,
oh,
said
I'm
anything.
sorry, I jumped. Nicholas, that's correct. Well, I got John and Nick. I'm sorry, I apologize. I jumped you there because Supervisor jumped on. Pro
No
Tem
problem.
Candia.
Oh.
No problem. Yeah, Scott, I didn't even know, be honest with you, that how much that Jim DiMartini put in to that, but it doesn't surprise me.
No.
I haven't talked to Bob Martina, and he was shocked too when I told him. But anyway, I hope we can keep that going, or Supervisor Khan, I hope we can keep that thing going and bring something to the west side. So other than that, I was on the StanCog call last Wednesday, and it continued. The meeting continued until last night again. We got back on again, and the evidently the COG is going to you're going to hire an in-house attorney. So that's coming down the road. Yeah, I was kind of shocked myself. So, but anyway, that's about all that was going on around there. So anyway, other than that, I hope everybody's well.
Good deal. All right. Well, thank you guys again. Sorry for jumping you, Nick. I kind of got
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
Got lost. If there's nothing else, I'll ask for adjournment.
So moved.
First, do we have a second?
Second.
Second it.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Night, 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 night.